blog.
Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Frogbit Blog podcast. In this episode, we were looking at paper that's okay to drop on the floor. No, really, it is. Listen on, it is. It's fine. Rich people doing good eco things. There's trouble down under in Australia and New Zealand. And much more. So listen on.
The Frogbit blog.
Right, some good news from India. India will eliminate all single-use plastic in the country by 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced. The pledge is the most ambitious yet of the global actions to combat plastic pollution that are taking place in 60 nations around the world. Modi's move aims to drastically stem the flow of plastic from the 1.3 billion people living in the fastest growing economy in the world. The choices that we make today will define our collective future, said Modi on Tuesday. The choices may not be easy, but through awareness, technology, and a genuine global partnership, I am sure we can make the right choices. Let's all join together to beat plastic pollution and make this planet a better place to live. A UN report issued on Tuesday on World Environmental Day, this is probably a few weeks back, showed dozens of nations acting to cut plastic, including a ban on plastic bags in Kenya, on styrofoam in Sri Lanka, and the use of biodegradable bags in China. But what about the UK? All right, we've had a tax on plastic single plastic bags, should I say. But Theresa May, is she going to cut plastic use by 2022? No, we are going to do it by 2042, by which time Theresa May will be dead, so she doesn't give a toss. Oh, good work, Theresa. Really, but Tories, yep, you can rely on the Tories on the environment. 20 years after the Indians are going to do it, we're going to do it here in the UK. Great. Right, so Pakistan has just planted 1 billion trees. Well, not all of them. I don't think all of Pakistan have just planted 1 billion trees like that, not since the news started. Anyway, I imagine some of them sat at home and did now. Pakistan hit its 1 billion tree goal in August 2017, months ahead of schedule. Now, the hills of the country's northwestern province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are alive with newly planted saplings. The massive reforestation project, named the Billion Tree Tsunami, added 350,000 hectares of trees both by planting and natural regeneration in an effort to restore the province's depleted forests and fight the effects of climate change. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has lost large areas of forest to felling, which increase the likelihood of flooding and landslides. In 2016, flash floods hit the province, killing dozens of people. Now, as well as benefiting the environment, the project has established a network of private tree nurseries which have boosted local incomes and generated green jobs, including for unemployed young people and women in the province. Well, that's very, very good, isn't it? I went to Pakistan in the 80s. I was there for about 6 weeks in the north, in the Hunza Valley, and it was absolutely beautiful, wonderful place, very lovely, friendly people. So good on you, Pakistan. Now, bees, a positive news story. Urban development and industrialisation hasn't been great for bees. They have to fly longer distance, which has played a role in their decline. According to the initiative City Bees, the initiative's bee-saving paper offers a juicy solution, biodegradable paper that functions like a bee energy drink. City Bees, paper craftsmen and entomology experts to create... Oh, I missed a word out there, haven't I? Anyway, they're creating bee-saving paper, a bee-friendly product with many uses, bags, coffee cup sleeves, picnic plates and more. How does this product work, I hear you ask? It's created with what the initiative calls energy-rich glucose, but it won't make paper sticky. No, it won't do that. But it is appealing for buzzing insects. Seeds from the Lacy Phacelia plant. Ooh, sexy. I've got some of them in my garden, purple, they're lovely. Anyway, as an aside, carry on. Seeds from the Lacy Phacelia plant are also incorporated into the paper. Finally, a water-based UV paint helps attract bees to the paper. The paint is applied in a pattern of what bees see as red circles, similar to how they view meadows. The designers hope bees consume the glucose and that the seeds will grow into flowers. We've managed to develop and produce what is probably the first paper nature will not only like to use, but may even to drop, said senior creative Tomzak. I should check these names. Tomasz Buzot, and Anna Gadeka said, "We know our initiative won't solve the worldwide problem of declining bee population by itself, but we hope will at least make people realise how important bees are to us." How cool is that? So dropping litter will one day be the right thing to do, won't it? Lots of cognitive dissonance there. So you drop the paper, the bees eat the glucose, the paper dissolves, and you get all these flower seeds. So start dropping paper. Not yet. Wait for the bee paper to come, and then you'll be allowed to drop paper.
From Big Blog.
Now, I mentioned a while back about the beaver hunt, not beaver as in animal, but I pronounced it Belvoir anyway. It's called the beaver hunt. Apparently, it's a famous hunt. And a gang of men put 2 observers from the League of Cruel Sports into hospital, one with a broken neck. Remember, these guys from the League of Cruel Sports were there with a camera making sure that illegal hunting didn't take place. And they were beaten up by a gang of 6 men. One of the League Against Cruel Sports guy was an ex-policeman, a man in his 50s. A gang attacked them, stole the camera and destroyed the memory card that may have had evidence on them. Well, the attackers were given a suspended sentence after Princess Diana gave a character reference in court. Lady Sarah McCorkdale, Princess Diana's elder sister, is a joint master of the beaver hunt and argued that George Grant would lose his job and home if the judge told him. Good, so he fucking should. She told Leicester Crown Court that George Grant is a very hard-working, good at his job, and she had never seen him lose his temper like that. So fucking what? I'm sure most wives of rapists never see their husband commit crimes. It doesn't mean they aren't guilty. The men of Briery Cottage in Belvoir were given 13-month prison sentences suspended. Okay, so the prison sentence is suspended. And one of the blokes that got hurt, Daryl Cunningham, suffered life-threatening injuries, including fractures to the neck in 3 places. Yeah. Now, what's been said, Sir Ranulph Fiennes, I don't know how you pronounce it, that explorer guy, anyway, he wants the hunt attackers jailed, okay? It says, by allowing the 2 men to walk free from court, this may be interpreted as giving the green light for hunt supporters to commit serious assaults against local residents, charity staff, or any other individual who may observe or be in the vicinity of a hunt. Now, you can actually write to the courts and complain about this sentence, which I've done, as long as it's done by July the 12th. So in the show notes, you can complain about a lenient sentence. In the show notes, I'm going to put the address of where you can send them, but you've got to get it done by the 12th. So hurry, because I think it's absolute disgrace. Could you imagine if 6 hunt saboteurs had pulled Lady McFucking Posh Twat off her horse and broken her neck? Do you think they would have been given a suspended sentence? No way. They would be locked up serving a minimum of 5 years in prison right now. All equal under the law, my ass. I was just listening back to that. I don't know if you noticed, I actually said Princess Diana did it, but obviously it couldn't have been her because she's been dead 20 years. The people's princess has been dead. Anyway, even if she hadn't been dead, she wouldn't have done a thing like that. She was a lovely girl. Oh, and another point about the writing to the attorney or whatever. There's also a petition online, and I'm going to put the link to the petition. So if you do it after July the 13th, or as well, or you could actually sign up to the petition, okay? Now it's time for the latest episode of...
Oh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt, ha, 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 ha. Oh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt a lot. Hey! Oh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt, ha, 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 ha. Oh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt a lot. Hey!
Yes, good news. At least 2 suspected rhino poachers have been mauled to death and eaten by lions on a South Africa game reserve, officials say. Rangers discovered the remains of 2, possibly 3 people in a lion enclosure in the Sibyua Reserve near the southwest town of Kenton-on-Sea. Sounds like Newcastle. A high-powered rifle and an axe were also found. There's been a rise in poaching in Africa in recent years to feed growing demand for rhino horn in parts of Asia. In China, Vietnam and elsewhere, rhino horse is erroneously believed to have medicinal properties, even though it is made from the same material as human fingernails. Sibyua Reserve owner Nick Fox said in a statement on the reserve's Facebook page that the suspect poachers entered the reserve late on Sunday night or early on Monday morning. They strayed into a pride of lions. It's a big pride, so they didn't have much time, Mr. Fox told the news agency. There you go, Mr. Fox looks after lions. More cognitive dissonance. It keeps happening, doesn't it? Anyway, we're not sure how many there were. There's not much of them left. So, all together, 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt. Ha, 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 ha. Ooh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt a lot. Hey! Ooh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt. Ha, 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 ha. Ooh, good, I hope it hurt, I hope it hurt a lot. Hey!
Right, I've messed up again. I'm doing it a lot today because, as you know, I'm normally word perfect, but I can't let this one pass. Firstly, instead of saying rhino horn, I said rhino horse, which is quite nice, actually, thought of a rhino horse. And second, when I was on about Mr. Fox and it saying cognitive dissonance, it wasn't cognitive dissonance, is it? It's called nominative determinism when someone's name matches their job. Nominative determinism. Get it right next time, you daft sod. We're getting bleeding burgers in the UK. No, I'm not swearing again. It's true. Bleeding vegan burger to get UK launch in Tesco next month. Beyond Burgers, which sold out on the US launch, is to be stocked in shelves alongside meat. A plant-based burger that bleeds from the US company Beyond Meat is to make its UK retail debut in Tesco in August. Okay, it's a Beyond Burger. It's the vegan-friendly product which sold out in January 2017 after it was launched in the US, and it's going to be sold in the UK alongside meat in 350 branches of Tesco in time for Britain's late summer barbecues. Each contains 20 grams of pea protein, coconut oil, potato starch, and uses beetroot juice to bleed a meaty red hue. I'm not sure what Hugh thinks of that. And it goes on to say, as more Britons drop meat from their diet or for health or ethical reasons, manufacturers and retailers have been scrambling to cater for them. However, Goldman said the company was deliberately targeting the UK's estimated 22 million flexitarians. Those who enjoy meat but want to reduce their consumption, as well as vegans and vegetarians. And I've been on a few forums and seen this, and lots of vegans going, oh, no, that's disgusting. I don't want anything that bleeds. Yeah. Well, fair enough, but it's probably not really aimed for you, is it? Because you're already convinced. But if it's going to stop people that still want to eat meat but don't want to try and eat as much, if it's going to stop them kind of people eating meat, good on them. I'm not sure whether I even bother trying them, really, but good on them. Yeah, so give them a go. And there's more controversy around this, funnily enough. Meanwhile, in New Zealand...
Hello, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard New Zealand Airlines flight DH1435 to New York. According to latest weather reports, there should be no trouble ahead. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey with us. We will be cruising at an... Sorry, what was that? Oh, hello, Prime Minister. Just to let you know, all passengers, we have a direct call from Winston Peters, acting Prime Minister. What? A threat? An imminent and an existential threat? Look, everybody, this is an emergency. We're under an imminent and direct threat. Staff, will you please go into terrorist lockdown mode, secure the cabin. Passengers are requested not to panic. Please stay in your seats. If you have mobile phones, it might be a good time to contact your loved ones and tell them you love one. I mean, don't panic, but maybe go ahead and do that. Mayday, 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 mayday. Sorry, I missed that due to all the noise in here. It's chaos. What? You're fucking kidding me. Really? Is that it, you fucking knobhead? Look, everyone, This is your captain speaking again. Really sorry about this. The imminent and existential threat to our survival is, well, we put bloody veggie burgers on the menu as an option. Panic over. No, you now have a choice, a veggie burger with your lunch. So I'm sure you've all worked up an appetite now, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your flight, but I'm really sorry about that.
Yes, a veggie burger that bleeds fake blood. They always have to say this, don't they? The veggie burger that bleeds fake blood has been accused of posing an existential threat to New Zealand's beef farm industry amid a growing row over synthetic meat. The Impossible Burger, which is being served on the national carrier Air New Zealand, has drawn the ire of acting Prime Minister Winston Peters, who has said he is utterly opposed to fake beef, and the airline should be using real animal products. Air New Zealand, the country's national carrier, is offering the burger made of synthetic meat from an American company to business class passengers on flights from Los Angeles to Auckland. New Zealand First Primary Industry spokesperson Mark Patterson issued a press release warning that the veggie burger could pose an existential threat to New Zealand's second biggest import-export earner and was a slap in the face for the red meat sector. We have Air New Zealand actively promoting synthetic proteins which have GM modification component to them. This is not a good example of New Zealand incorporating work together for the greater good. Get a grip, okay? They're offering a veggie burger as an option on a menu. All right. Has anyone noticed? The world's full of twats, isn't it? Completely full of twat. All the people in power at the moment in America, in Britain, Australia, not in New Zealand. You've got that Jacinda, she's quite good, but some of the other people in there, they're twats, aren't they? Just get out of your job and let some decent people do it. You're all twats.
From Big Blog.
Meanwhile, in Australia... Good afternoon, sir.
Good day.
Thank you for shopping at Woolworths. That's $25 for your groceries. Is there anything I can help you with? Me bags. Where's me bloody carrier bags? I'm sorry, sir. Plastic bags have been banned. You bloody what? What am I going to carry on me Fosters in? You can't bloody do this, you pile of fetid koala shit. I'm Australian. I want me bloody carrier bags. My ancestor didn't travel all this way on a prison ship, set a bow here so that their great-grandkids would be denied carrier bags, you big bloody kangaroo shagger. Sir, there's no need to be rude. Yep, apparently Australians are getting a bit tetchy about plastic carrier bags. Dozens of supermarket staff in Australia have been attacked by customers after single-use plastic bags were banned in supermarkets. One shopper even had put his hands round a worker's throat. A ban on free lightweight plastic bags that came into effect in most of Australia's states over the weekend had some customers fly into a rage. According to a survey, 132 members that took part in the poll, these are shop workers, 57 said that they were abused by shoppers. Some customers threw their shopping on the floor, shouted abuse at staff, and one man even put his hands round a shop assistant's throat when he found out that he would not be getting free bags. Staff also complained that some shoppers tried to use dirty bags containing vomit, dirty nappies and rat feces. Why would you have spare bags full of rat shit? I don't quite understand that. Other shoppers vented their anger by shouting money-grabbing scam at staff or throwing food at them, according to the union survey. Strange bunch. Right, I know you all think I act like a bit of a class warrior, and I'm not, so just to prove that I'm not, here's something to listen to. Well, I've been reading a few articles recently about rich people doing good things. They've just come across, sort of like a few gels. So I thought I'd do a bit about rich people doing good things. And coincidentally, I was in town the other day and I heard some buskers in an arcade, and they were called the King's College Traditionals. And they played this lovely old-fashioned posh kind of music, and they were using madrigals and harpsichords and lyre. No, I'm not lying. It's true. Just a bit of an old musical instrument joke there. Anyway, they were playing this lovely posh music. So I did my bit. I gave them 5 pence. And I got talking to them, and they were these lovely lads, a bit posh, but I thought they'd be great to do a jingle for the new series, you know, rich people doing good eco things. And they actually agreed to come into the studio and do the jingle live. So instead, rather than sending the tape in, I'm doing this sort of live lounge setup where they're going to come in and they're going to sing a song. They're going to sing a song live for us. So they're in here and they're ready to play. So anyway, here they are behind the glass. Hi, lads.
Hi.
Okay, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Julian.
Hi, Crispin here.
Sebastian. Henry.
Okay, lads. So you're going to play the jingle that you've just written, especially for me. For you know, I'm going to start doing a weekly series or a podcastly series for rich people doing good eco things.
Oh, yeah.
Just one thing. When I'm looking through the glass at you here, where are your madrigals and harpsichords and lyres and that sort of thing?
Oh, we thought we'd use normal instruments. They sound much better in the studio.
Oh, okay. Bit disappointing. But go ahead. Anyway, you ready to get tuned up and you're gonna you play your song then, are you?
Yes, are we ready, boys? Yes, okay.
Ready.
Hiya, we are Toxic Dog Sick, and this is Rich Posh Twat. Rich people doing good eco things. Rich people doing good eco things. Rich people doing good eco things. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And you can't help it if you're a posh rich twat.
I'm not quite sure if I was expecting that, lads. But thank you anyway. Thank you, Julian, Crispin, Sebastian, and Henry.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you. Well, maybe actually I'll get you back in to do some more. What was the name of the band again?
Toxic Dog Sick.
Okay. Thanks, Toxic Dog Sick. I'll see you soon. Orange-tipped butterflies jink over grassland, and a buzzard mews high on a thermal. Presumably that's not a vest. Anyway, blackthorns burst with bridal white blossom, and sallow leaves of peppermint green unfurl. The exhilaration in this corner of West Sussex is not, however, simply the thrill explosion of spring. The land is bursting with an unusual abundance of life. Rampant weeds and wild flowers, insects, birdsong, ancient trees, and enormous fucking I added that bit. Enormous hedgerows billowing into fields of hawthorn. And some of the conventional words from 3 millennia of farming, hedgerow, field and weed, no longer seem to apply in a landscape which is utterly alien to anyone raised in an intensively farmed environment. This is Knepp, a 3,500-acre farm in densely populated lowland Britain, barely 45 miles from London. Once a conventional dairy and arable operation, at the turn of this century, Knepp's owners, Charlie Burrell and Isabella Tree, auctioned off their farm machinery, rewilded their land, and as much by accident as designed, inched towards a new model of farming. Some view the result as an immoral eyesore, an abnegation of our responsibility to keep land productive and tidy. Others find it inspiring proof that people and nature can coexist. So let me get this right. There's this woman who's into rewilding, and her name is Isabella Tree. There you go. There is another example of nominative determinism. I've talked about this before, that you're more likely to do a job if your surname sort of fits the job, like Baker. So Isabella Tree is into rewilding. Good on you, Isabella. Anyway, this wild nature helps Burrell and Tree have a thriving glamping site, an ecotourism business. If you don't know what glamping is, it's glamorous. It's camping for posh people, isn't it? Anyway, a thriving glamping site, an ecotourism business, but they are still producing food from their free-roaming, rewilding livestock. In fact, after 2 decades, it is still unique, the only sizable farm in lowland Britain to rewild itself. Its land is no no longer a place of conventional food production. Arable fields have been left to run wild, and the way animals and plants have bounced back has been constantly surprising and rapid. So there you have it. Good on 'em, I say. So Isabella Tree has now got a book out about the whole project, and it's called Wilding. So if you're into that kind of stuff, give 'em a go. Look, anyway, one of them got left all this stuff by their grandparents, but at least they've gone on to do good things. So I say, good on 'em. Posh rich twats. No, only joking. Good on 'em. Another example of...
Rich people doing good eco things. Rich people doing good eco things. Rich people doing good eco things. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And you can't help it if you're a posh rich twat.
Right, well, Len's not here this week. Len's on holiday, so I haven't got sexy Len. And I got Mark, who came on a while back. He wants to be on, and he's asked for his own bloody theme tune and everything. But I'm not going to waste... He's only been on once. I'm not going to waste time doing his own theme tune. So sorry, you're quite sexy too, Mark. I'm going to borrow Len's theme tune and sort of adapt it for you. So here you go. It's Sexy Mark.
Yeah,
It's Mark.
Yeah.
Sexy Mark.
Yeah, it's Len
It's Mark again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Mark
Len
again.
Len.
Mark. Oh, Mark. Marky Mark. Mark again. Oh, Mark. Yeah, Marky Mark. Right, well, we've got Mark back. Say hi, Mark.
Hello.
Remember Mark? He was in with Len. He was the minimalist. Well, there were two minimalists, but I think they fell out over who was the biggest minimalist, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm more of a minimalist.
Yeah, you're a bigger minimalist than him, are you? And you're a filmmaker, aren't you?
I am, yes, yeah.
An actor and a filmmaker.
Yeah, actor, filmmaker, or write, produce, and act in my own films, I know.
So what's your latest film?
I'm currently deep in the post-production stages of my first feature film, which is called A Dirty Weekend. It's exactly what it's.
Oh, so you're that kind of actor and filmmaker. Well, I've heard there's money in there.
It's a dark British comedy, like Monty Python, Simon Pegg-esque, all ridiculous, awkward situations.
Oh, very good. Very good. So, Mark, you've got an electric bike, but you're not here to talk about electric bike. You're actually trying to become a vegetarian, aren't you? What brought that on?
Well, I'd say I'm an accidental vegetarian, an accidental vegetarian. I read an article online about how we as a species, due to the population increases and the amount of meat that we consume, and I did read that we need to halve the amount of meat that we are consuming in order for things to be sustainable. So I thought, well, I can't change the world, but I might be able to do my little bit. So I thought I'd go 3 days a week vegetarian. So I started doing sort of Monday to Wednesday vegetarian, then was sort of eating meat through the rest of the week. So some would say that's a flexitarian, but I actually found that the days where I was vegetarian, I was feeling better, I was sleeping better, I was more energetic.
Really?
And I was starting shedding the weight as well. So I've started becoming more full-time vegetarian, kind of totally by accident in that way.
That's interesting. I mean, the statistics are incredible, aren't they? Because I mentioned this the other week, and I'm not trying to preach. This is just one of them facts that came up, that if the whole world overnight became vegan, that the 75% of the land would be used. It was something like America, China, Europe, and Australia would become free, which is quite incredible, isn't it? Really. And we're not going to be able to persuade everyone just to instantly give up, are we? But I think, like you said, it's interesting that you did that flexitarian thing, because when I did 30 years ago, that was my idea. It was like, I'm going to stop eating as much meat as I can. But if someone invites me around for a meal, I don't want to be awkward, because there wasn't any veggies then, and I'll have that. But after a couple of goes, I started a couple of eating meat. It was like, oh no, God, this is awful.
Yeah. Well, I have broken me vegetarian a couple of times. I went round for a barbecue during the Champions League final, and my friend had cooked a load of meat for everyone to eat, and then a couple of people didn't turn up. Then someone else turned up with their corn burgers, and I kind of felt bad that he'd made all this food for everyone, and there was only going to be 3 people eating it. So I did that day kind of break it, but that was still when I saw myself as a flexitarian.
Yeah.
But yeah, if everyone kind of at least. All I wanted to do originally was just cut down the amount of meat I was eating. I wasn't intending to go full veggie, but just cut down. But I accidentally went full time.
Yeah, it feels like it's not a bad way to approach it, really, because I think for a lot of people, if they suddenly think if it's because it was a moral decision in terms of the planet, rather than is it an animal decision in any way? Do you have that aspect to it, or not really? Is it more?
No, not really that aspect to it. I mean, I don't. If animals are going to die for us to eat, I'd like it to be like done in a humane way. But
but it's more about the planet. Yeah. Right. So have you struggled with it?
A couple of times. The only struggle has been because I'm intolerant to cheese as well. So I found that quite a lot of pre-made veggie food. Cheese based or mushroom based, of which I neither like cheese or mushroom, so not eating meat,
dear me.
And not eating cheese or mushroom, I'm kind of limited a little bit, so I've struggled a little bit.
So what have you been eating?
I make quite a lot of veggie risottos.
Right.
I like beans have become a big thing. So
right, do you use corn and stuff?
Yeah, I started eating corn. I don't really like the corn attempts at chicken, but I quite like the sort of the corn mince is nice.
Yeah.
So I make like a lot of like veggie omelettes and things like that.
That's brilliant, because I imagine with the meat, it's that long since I've eaten meat that I can't actually remember what it tastes like, but I imagine the stuff like mince isn't that different in a way, is it?
I can't tell the difference.
Right,
other
brilliant.
than there's no gritty, gristly bits that I get anymore.
Yeah.
When you eat meat, every now and then it's all, it might taste nice, but every now and then you get a bit of grit or a bit of fat, but it tastes the same but without all them.
Oh, that's good. And it's an interesting way that you've approached it, like you said, starting off as a flexitarian but just sort of moving gradually, because I imagine for a lot of people it must be hard just to go one day, right, I'm going to stop all this. You must. Whereas if you're doing it gradually, at least it's something that you can work your way into, isn't it?
Well, I'm friends with some vegetarians. They often said when I was a sort of full meat eater, they kind of talked about going veggie, and I used to always think, I couldn't just go veggie overnight because I'd miss bacon too much. But I was thinking the other day, I haven't eaten bacon for like 6 months, and I just don't miss it at all.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, I remember at the time for me that was the one, bacon butty, because growing up as a teenager, bacon butty, and it was the one. But it's not bothered me. I actually end up eating as a Sunday treat. I have that fake bacon, which, like I said, it's that long ago since I've eaten real stuff. I wouldn't know. Oh, that's brilliant. And you're actually planning maybe next year to. Tell us about this long-term plan that you've got.
Well, I'm trying to take a bit of thinking about taking a bit of a career break to go and sort of see the world. I always wanted to go travelling and see things, but then fell into a career quite early on, and the opportunity disappeared. But for my 30th, I'm 30 next year, so I was thinking about treating myself to a career break because I've got no responsibilities really, other than I've got quite a simple little life going on. So I was hoping to go and do some work with the help contribute towards fixing the Pacific garbage patch problem, and maybe do some volunteering for 4Ocean, as well as seeing India and going over to do some volunteering around Thailand. And
right, so what's the organisation for?
4Ocean. It was set up by these two surfers who had noticed that their surf areas were getting more and more polluted, and when they kind of became aware of the Pacific garbage patch themselves, they started their company where they're funded by creating recycled jewellery out of the plastics that they collect.
So you could go, they take volunteers. What do they do? Go on a boat, or just hang around the edge of the ocean and scoop it out, or what?
Yeah, it looks to be quite a growing business where they do everything from going out on the boat and fishing things out with good big nets to just cleaning up beaches, and
that's brilliant.
Also the business side of things as well. So
if people can make a living from it, that's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Really. Look, you rattled on for over 7 minutes now. I'm going to call it a day there, but thank you very much for coming in, and pop again in sometime soon and tell us more about your meat and plastic adventures, but not at the same time.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, the meat and the e-bike, the meat and the e-bike.
The meat and the e-bike and the plastic. It's all mounting up, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Mark.
It's
Thanks, Mark.
yeah. It's
Mark again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Mark
again.
Mark. Oh, Mark. Marky Mark. Mark again. Oh, Mark. Yeah, Marky Mark. Right then, that's all we've got time for. Don't forget to look in the show. If it's before July the 12th that you listen to this, don't forget to look in the show notes for that email address to complain about the lenient sentence. Although we've enjoyed the show, I'll be back soon. I'm going to go out in the sun because it's sunny here for a fucking change. I'll see you soon then. Bye.
From Big Bloke. From Big Bloke. From Big Bloke. From Big Bloke.